No, you're winning.
Anthony Adebayo.
with with you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's up? What's up? Oh, you rocking the Brooklyn Nets hat, I see. Okay. Fresh.
Just for the purposes of the show, not necessarily. Everybody knows who I root for.
Right.
It ain't no, I have a ton of hats, so whatever. But this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B, man.
All right, so we missed a week, and it almost feels like we got scolded for it. So I guess we first of all, how you been?
I've been good, man. Like you said last week, it was like so much content that was happening. I was like, man, we should record. And it's like this week. I mean, wow, what a treat! We got to cover this week. So
absolutely. So I guess we should start where I mean. The obvious. Well, I guess it's not obvious because it is Super Bowl week, but it was the NBA trade deadline. And we talked football for months, right? I think this trade deadline was a little, I don't want to say different than any other trade deadline. There's been some crazy trade deadline day deals, but I think we should get into that. So let's talk Brooklyn and Philly. It happened, and there were so many other rumors that were going on about this trade and the guys. So Harden to Philly, and Ben Simmons and a host of other things to Brooklyn. So let me ask you my first question: who do you think won the trade, and do you think it was a good trade for both teams?
All right, I want to answer your second question first.
Okay.
It was a great trade for both teams.
Okay.
I mean, Philly got something. There wasn't Ben Simmons wasn't playing, so they got James Harden. And then Ben Simmons, I think you brought this up. You might have brought it up this morning. Maybe a better fit with the Nets than James Harden. So, and then for them to get Andre Drummond and everything that they got, definitely a good trade for both teams. Who do I think won the trade? I'm going to evaluate the trade off of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they gave up a lot to get Harden.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
The reason why I feel like the 76ers won is I think the window is closing. Embiid is having a phenomenal, another basically MVP caliber season. And then pair him up with James Harden. That team, I wouldn't say just give them the championship or just put them in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're ready to compete. I mean, they're there. I think the time is now, and they're in go mode, and I think it was worth it. What they had to give up to get them.
Wow. Okay. I really wasn't expecting that, and that's a good take. Me personally, I don't know what's going on with my headphones. But me personally, I think that, and it's still early, so we don't really know. But I felt like Brooklyn wanted, to get Seth Curry and Drummond. I think that's just as big to them because they were lacking shooting, and Seth Curry is definitely going to give them shooting once Kevin Durant gets back. And I mean, the thing with Kyrie, here's the other thing. Because I have the feeling before the playoffs start that mandate is gonna get somehow, I don't know if it's gonna get lifted, but it's gonna get adjusted, even if it doesn't get lifted, right? And if that happens, you have Ben Simmons, who one of the best on-ball two-way defenders in the league. I think everyone could agree with that. I think he's going into a new situation, and a lot of the times when you go into a new situation, you have you get that you get more juice, right? And so I think he's going to be more motivated, especially if they play Philly in the playoffs. I cannot wait. I personally hope that it's not the conference finals, but the semifinals, the conference semis. I hope that's what we see, because one, I think is going to go 7 games. You're going to see guys, and I promise you, if they play each other in the playoffs, Ben Simmons will shoot a 3 and he will make a 3.
yeah, he possibly can. So everything that you said is valid, right? I think most basketball fans can agree that this trade is good for both teams.
Right.
The reason why I give the edge to Sixers is it's a lot of things that have to play out for it to be a good trade for the Nets this year. Because obviously Simmons is a little bit younger, but he hasn't played all year. So he's got to come back and he's got to play. We got the Kyrie thing where he's still not playing home games. Right. So, you know, like you just mentioned, they've got to lift the mandate. And then this is all assuming that Kevin Durant, I mean, he's going to come back healthy, but when does he come back? So it's just right now they're in the 8th seed. I think everybody would agree that they're gonna still make it to the playoffs. But the magic question is, does everybody come back in time, have enough time to gel and make that run forward? As you mentioned, Drummond. I mean, I wasn't impressed with him with the Lakers, but I've been following his career, and they needed that length. And they got it with him. Steph Curry, like you said, the outside shooting that's going to be there. So, no, they definitely got some pieces, but a lot of things got to fall in motion. 76ers, Harden, man, he just comes out there. And, I mean, for them to keep Harris, to keep Maxey, and I forget the other, he just comes out to keep that they were able to keep and not have to give them up. That was a huge win for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So here's the thing. With both teams, the Nets not having to give up Patty Mills, I think is huge. Because honestly, he was probably their 3rd best player. Like he was one of the reasons why they were in first or second. But you know, the Nets are not slick. I know what they're doing. I'm sure you know what they're doing. They're gonna make sure that they are 5, 6, 7, or 8. You know what I'm saying? Because they want Kyrie to play more games. I ain't stupid. You're not stupid. I'm almost certain that, I'm not saying that they're tanking, but you know, yeah, KD, you know what? Take your time getting back. You know, you'll be all right. You know, take your time. Harden, it was sitting anyway. He wanted to get out of there. Maybe Harden understood that. He was like, I don't want to be a low seed. I've been a low seed in the playoffs, and it just doesn't work out. I just think this Nets dynamic is a little different, and one that we've never seen before, right? So as far as like with Kyrie, you know, just somebody just playing road games, it's just it is weird and it's different. But I think that they got the better end of the deal, man, because if somehow that mandate is lifted, and they're able to make a run, Ben Simmons is I think I said this before the season. Ben Simmons on that team, they might make the Eastern Conference Finals. I know, I understand that the Sixers have been playing good ball. and I don't think them getting a Harden is a bad thing. Well, again, we already agreed to that, but I think that makes them better than they already were. So
let's talk.
I can't wait to see them play.
But let's talk about some of the cons, right? Okay, so we're all thinking positive, right? So a couple of things that we got to discuss. What's going on in Brooklyn that James Harden wanted out? So that's the first thing I want to discuss.
Right.
And the second thing is, okay, so we've got these big names, but obviously Ben Simmons, from what I'm hearing, is not a great locker room guy. Kyrie Irving is technically not a great locker room guy. I mean, can this work? I mean, we saw Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, which by all accounts probably was the most talented offensive team on paper. And I mean, when they were clicking, I mean, when you did see them play and they were all healthy, I mean, we saw the glimpse of, I mean, they could be an unbeatable team, but for whatever reason, it didn't work. What's going on there? Mainly because of health, but if that was the only reason, I don't think somebody wants out.
That's a good point. So let me ask you this: do you think that Harden was tired of Kyrie?
I think it had to be a factor. I think he might have been tired of Kyrie. It could have been something with the coaching. I personally, I'm starting to question Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, all three of their relationships. No, I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So with the Russ situation, you know, that went sour. They basically got rid of Westbrook. And I mean, Westbrook, he hasn't been balling like he normally has in the past. But, you know, those guys are supposed to be tight. I mean, Harden forces his way out of Houston. I mean, literally, you said it. He was showing up to the team in a fat suit. I mean, like literally, I mean, he straight just disrespected the Rockets to get to Brooklyn. And I mean, he gets there. And I mean, last year, I mean, they had a good run. It was just like you said, injuries caught up to him. Everybody saw the talent. This year, I mean, yeah, he's had some hamstring issues. The team seemed okay. I mean, yeah, you had the frustrating thing going on with Kyrie and the mandate,
right?
But I mean, for him to just force his way out, I mean, now it just kind of screams that maybe he's not getting along. And why is he so unhappy?
You mean Harden? I think it has to be a multitude of things. Like mainly, you know, of course, when you're not winning, it takes its toll. But it has to. Sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror, right? Like, because if this doesn't work in Philly, at this point, I'm not gonna say his career is over, but it ultimately is gonna reduce him to be like a role player, you know, and it's a personality thing. Do the personalities match up? In Houston, Harden and CP3 initially worked. I think that there's an expiration date where maybe, I don't know if it's Harden. I don't know. It has to be Harden. I think that if you look at the guys that he's balled with, it has to be him. I mean, he probably has a I don't want to say like a cocky attitude. I think to be that good, you have to be some sort of cocky, right? But I think it just wears thin on guys because you had Dwight Howard, you had CP3, you had Chris Paul. I mean, Russell Westbrook, and now you had Harden. I mean, KD and Kyrie. I mean, and don't forget about KD and Russ before. I don't know. He's the main denominator, the common denominator, and sometimes it's like they wasn't going to trade. They wasn't going to trade Kyrie.
Well, they wasn't going to trade Harden without Durant's blessing.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean, so and that's weird. That's weird, right? So I'm almost certain that Harden and KD spoke, and he probably expressed, however he felt. I don't think that, but I think that if the Nets would have had put Kyrie on the trading block even earlier this season when everything was happening when he wasn't playing, I think that KD would have gave his blessing.
yeah, he would have gave his blessing, right? So think about it like this, and this is the way I'm thinking about it. Kevin Durant, when healthy, right now is top 3 player in the league. Some people will rank him first, some people will rank him third. I don't think most people will have him outside of that, right? He got James Harden. By all accounts, maybe not really this season, but I normally put him in the top 5. We'll go this season. He's in the top 10, right? So you got a top.
Talking about Harden,
okay. Right?
Okay.
So you got a top 10 player that easily could be in people's top 5. Some people maybe even top 3, and then you've got another top 3 talent, right? And they've only been together for not even. I mean, they've been together a full season. Like if you add up all the time,
right?
And they're supposed to be like tight. They've got history, they've got everything, and then you have Kyrie Irving too. And you're James Harden, and you're saying, I don't want to be here. It's got to be another reason to why he doesn't want to be there. Now, could it have been Kyrie? Possibly. Could it have been the ownership? Highly doubtful, but possibly. Could it have been Steve Nash and the coaching staff? Possibly. But it had to be something that said, I don't want to be here no more. Get me out of this situation, and I'll figure it out. I can't wait to see what the outcome of the season is going to be.
So what do you have what is your thought? What do you think is the reason?
I think part being a diva and wanting to be just really being the diva, and I think the main thing is Kyrie. I think he might have been frustrated, and I don't have any proof. This is all just opinion.
Absolutely.
Like I don't have no report saying that him and Kyrie were beefing. Now I gotta say that because people might be like, "Oh man, I heard off the record that they was beefing," and no, I don't have any inside source to that or anything. But it's got to be frustration, and I'm wondering how frustrated is Kevin Durant with it.
He's got to be. I'm sure he's been frustrated since the whole thing with Kyrie, and I don't think he puts all the blame on Kyrie. But I do think that it was frustrating to him to watch and see, man, this guy. We're supposed to be here, we're supposed to be here going for a championship. And you can't even play.
Right. You're at half strength. You've brought in, like you basically forced the organization to mortgage their whole future to get your boy. You know what I mean? To get them in here, you've got all the pieces, and you all can't be healthy. Or even with Kevin Durant, like you can't even because in all accounts, right? If Kyrie Irving was playing each game, and Harden was playing each game, that would be enough to at least keep them in the 3rd or 4th spot. I mean, as far as talent-wise, to where KD should just be an extra bonus.
All right, so that wasn't I guess that was the biggest trade of the before the trade deadline. But there were some. First of all, the Nets, I think, traded all the good players except for, or let me not say good players because I don't know if they have that many good players, but they made a lot of trades today, getting rid of what's the dude, the former six man of the year. I don't forgot the man's name. He's so.
Who you talking about? You talking about the Knicks?
Montrez.
Oh, you talking about the Wizards?
Yeah, the Wizards. They traded Harrell. They traded Aaron Holiday. They traded Bertans, but they got Kristaps Porzingis. And the reason why I know people like the Wizards. Who cares about the Wizards? But I want to know what your thoughts on Kristaps Porzingis, because now you actually can go see him play, up close and personal. I mean, I know he's not a Knick. He hasn't been a Knick for quite some time, but I want to know your thoughts on Kristaps because he's a former Knick, and I know you feel some sort of way about him. I think you called him selfish before, and all this other stuff.
I never called him selfish.
Okay, all right. Well, I might have been making that up, but nonetheless,
Nick's selfish for getting rid of him and having nothing to show for it.
So what are your thoughts on him coming to DC?
I loved it. So look, I want to tell you, right? Monday we were at the game, me and you,
right
at the game. Other friend at the game, and the Wizards looked terrible. It was like one of the
sad to see
sporting events that I've ever been or seen in person. Like that team looked terrible. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I was like, you know what? They need to blow this whole team up. Like they need to get rid of every single person on there and just like start all over. Like everybody must go. And literally they must have been watching Monday too. That's how awful that performance was.
It was bad, man. It was really, really bad. Like that joint was. It was bad, man. It got to the point where it sounded like American Airlines Arena in there. It was dreadful. I think the funniest moment was Udonis Haslem was getting cheered, like they was trying to get him to get into the game, and he looked in the crowd and said, "Nah, I'm cool," and he never got in. He never went in the game. So I guess the other big trade was CJ McCollum to the Pelicans, and I think mainly the main reason of that is like now it's done. I wouldn't be surprised if Dame is out of there, unless because they did pick up some other pieces, but unless they make a splash in free agency, I highly doubt that. I see Dame Lillard out of Portland.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose. Was they were supposed to get rid of those salaries so that they can make a splash, but they've been trying to get free agents to Portland. For a long time. Dame's entire career, and the best free agent that they could do was Carmelo Anthony. He's got to go, man. And I feel him. He tried to stick it out. He tried to be.
But will he leave?
Oh yeah, he's gonna leave. He's got to leave. They're sending a clear message that they're gonna waste the rest of his career. They're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody's gonna hold anything against Dame because he's given them everything that he could give them. He's not having a good season this year. I guess for his type of talent, his level of play, but I think the time is now. The time is now. Dame, if you're listening, get up out of there, man. Don't. Honestly, if you got to tell him that you pulled your hammy, just sit out the rest of the season. Like, don't waste your time. Get healthy. Get traded during the draft. Go to. I don't know where he would go. I guess LA would be an ideal place for him to go. But you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. If Dame Lillard was to go to Dallas, boy, oh boy.
Dallas?
Yeah. If Dame Lillard was to go to Dallas with Luka and some of those other pieces and they get another free agent. Nah,
they got Spencer Dinwiddie now.
So you'll keep Spencer Dinwiddie and not get Dame. Okay. Get him up out of there, man. No, man, whatever.
They got Spencer.
You saw him on Monday. You saw him on Monday.
He can dribble. He can dribble. And man,
Right,
I looked up. I was like, man, he's out here cooking people. I looked up. I was like, man, he got 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely not impressed. So yeah,
I like what the Cavaliers did though.
Yeah,
Getting LeVert,
absolutely.
I thought that was a great pickup.
Yeah, man. I mean, so the Cavs, they're gonna be sneaky good. I don't see them going. I think that this year, I mean, they're so young, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they win a playoff series just because of youth. But it depends because they might end up getting Brooklyn in the first round, and I mean, they're not gonna beat Brooklyn. Not when Brooklyn is at full strength. But getting LeVert, I think that's gonna help them.
You know what they're missing, and I don't know who's out here. They remind me of the Phoenix Suns before they got Chris Paul. Like it's
And
one
Bubble Suns.
Yeah, Bubble Suns. Like,
Yeah.
like a team that just if they get the right veteran, and like I said, I don't think they need them at point guard, but they get somebody that just is mentally tough and has some sort of leadership is missing. Correct. Yep. I think if they get it, they're
So
going to be a scary team.
who do you think that they should get?
So they're a lock at 1, 2, and 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they need somebody good.
Well, Jared Allen is having a really, really good year. They're not getting LeBron.
Not
LeBron is not going in for time.
But to Curtis's point, I wasn't thinking somebody that prominent, but if they get the right leader, I mean, LeBron could definitely win with that team.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he could. It wouldn't be LeBron now.
So, all right. Well, we see. So,
or maybe, dang.
nah, man.
He's not going to Cleveland, but
listen. I feel that, yeah, but no, I'm not going from Portland to Cleveland. It's not. No. If Dame, honestly, you know what? I can see Dame in New York with the Knicks.
Yeah, I can see it too.
And if he goes to the Knicks, and I mean, if I was the Knicks, I would have traded Randall 2 first-round picks and maybe another player for Dame.
So I got a name that maybe if he was willing to go, what if they got somebody like Russell Westbrook?
Who?
Cleveland.
Man, that team would be in shambles.
I mean, he can make them mentally tough. You know, maybe not triple double Russ, but like no,
don't do it. No, don't do it. Honestly, at this point, Russell Westbrook is gonna have to go to a team that's rebuilding.
What about Bradley Beal?
To where? Cleveland? I can see that. That's not bad. It's not gonna happen, but
nah.
They're not taking that contract. Bradley Beal might be a lifelong wizard. He's gonna and he's gonna ultimately never play in the championship unless it's like his 15th, 16th year. He goes to like the Grizzlies and he's like a role player on the Grizzlies, you know, and Ja Morant is like the best player in the league. I don't know. I just don't.
So you just triggered a name that's doing absolutely nothing but making videos on Instagram. John Wall.
He needs to retire.
He needs to retire?
He needs to retire. It's over. It's over. It's over for Wall, yo.
I think he's got a little bit more left in the tank.
He ain't got it. I like John Wall. I think he's a good guy. But the last 4 years, or the last 4 years have shown us that he ain't got nothing. He ain't got it. He's done. He stick a fork in him. Stick a fork in him. He's done. So I think the thing with Westbrook, I don't know, man. Westbrook can possibly. I think Westbrook still has more juice than John Wall.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
Albert Hainsworth
took the money and ran. Yeah, I mean, John Wall's been getting paid to do nothing. But all right, let's get to the win of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so my winner of the week this week is Alvin Kamara. If you haven't heard, he was arrested on battery charges after the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas for assaulting somebody, him and a couple guys that were with him. And I'm not going to beat this over the head, but I just thought it was just stupid, just dumb. All those guys you're hanging with, somebody's got to do your dirty work. Why are you doing the dirty work? Like you got people there. Let them handle the business. You keep your nose clean, and hey, man, we'll bail you out or whatever the case. Man, what were your thoughts when you heard that story?
When I heard that story, I said, "Damn, Vegas got another one." I mean, I think Vegas is good for the NFL in regards to like having a franchise out there, but it's all like extra, yo. I mean, all the extra stuff. I think the players, and I'm not gonna say, that is. I mean, I think that's like the fourth incident that we know of. I will say that he's probably gonna get suspended for a little bit, but it's not gonna be nothing too crazy. There's an investigation that's going on. He got locked up. He got out. I wouldn't be surprised if old boy, was testing his luck, tried to get a payday. And I don't know what he did to Kamara, but clearly he did something that pissed him off. It pissed him off for him to. I mean, did you see the picture of the guy?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. He got his brains kicked in. Let's answer this question. I mean, it was a black dude. It wasn't like it was a white dude. But so before we get to NFL stuff, I mean, this is a stupid question. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but we'll give him some energy. I mean, that's why we here for people. I
got to. He can't be in too many people's comparisons. I mean, John Wall was a perennial all-star. John Wall made the playoffs. John Wall took the Wizards deep in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, injuries caught up to John Wall, and the way basketball was kind of played now, he just didn't develop a consistent jump shot. And right now, the way basketball is being played, you've got to be able to score as a point guard. Just being faster than everybody and outrunning your opponent and getting to the hoop. It's not what teams are looking for. Yeah, Kwame played 12 years, but he was a journeyman. The team never felt confident enough to.
He played 12 years because he was 7 feet. That's why he played 12 years.
Yeah, he had the size. He never lived up to his potential.
He was 6 fouls. That's why he played 12 years. He was a big body that had 6 fouls. So, yeah.
So something Kwame Brown says, and he stands on this, is that he believed that the Wizards never was invested in his success. because they never put the pieces around him. They never made him the focal point of the offense. And to that, and Kwame, I don't want any smoke if you're watching. I know how you do and how you roll. You don't believe that bullshit. Quit telling people that. Quit telling people that.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, he doesn't believe that shit. He doesn't.
Right.
He does not.
So Super Bowl week, man. Got the Bengals. A matter of fact, happy Black History Month, man. So anyway, Super Bowl week. You got you got the Rams versus the Bengals in LA at SoFi. Man, oh man. Who do you have? Let's just get this out the way now. Who do you have? And if you want, you can give us a score.
My heart wants to go Bengals,
but
my heart wants to go with the Bengals,
but
my common sense is saying to go with the Rams.
Oh boy! So you're going with the Rams?
I'm going with the Rams.
Ooh, jeez. So you're going with the Rams? Do you mind giving a score?
I am going to say 35-32.
God, dog. Yo.
I believe it's going to be a shootout. I believe the Rams are going to jump up. The Rams defensive line is going to dominate the Bengals offensive line. And Joe Burrow is going to figure it out. And he is going to make a run at being the third Joe to win a Super Bowl. And it's going to be a heartbreak.
All right. All right. So I'm with you. My heart says I want the Bengals to win, that the Bengals are going to win. My head is telling me that the Bengals are going to win. I think the Bengals are going to win.
Wow.
I think that Joe Burrow leads them on a last 2-minute drive, and the rookie kicks a field goal to give the Bengals their first ever Super Bowl championship.
So I will say this. I would not back or take back any Justin Herbert comments about him being better than Burrow. But Joe Burrow is that guy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He is that guy. And I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't see it earlier. But Joe Burrow is that guy. And he may not get it done this year. But he's going to be around for a while. He is going to be around. Wow. And the Rams, let me tell you something. I'm still a little salty about my 49ers. The way that they came back on us.
Right.
If they are not careful, Joe Burrow will be able to win. I'm still going to go with the Rams, but the Bengals, I don't know if it's as lopsided as people are making it out to be. There's a lot of people out there not sold. And, I mean, they beat Kansas City.
Twice.
In my opinion, if you can beat Kansas City, you can beat anybody. If you can outscore the Kansas City Chiefs, you could beat anybody in the NFL. So
holding them to 3 points in the second half, and both times you play, and in the last time the conference championship, 3 points in the second half and overtime, and they got the ball first. Hey man, listen, that defensive coordinator for the Bengals, he's making a name for himself, man. And I tell you what, his second half adjustments are right now second to none, yo. Did I give my score? Oh, my score is 27-25. I have the Rams up 25-24 at the with late in the game, and Joe Burrow leads them to kick a field goal. I swear to God, Scott, if that score happens, yeah, listen. But yeah, I think that the second half adjustments that the Bengals have been making, especially in this postseason, have been amazing. So I'll say this. Joe Burrow is going to have to be adult because he's going to take some hits this game. Just because, I mean, he has a pop one O line, and they still continue to he still continues to fight. So I'll say I still have the Bengals winning this game. My last question to you, because we're going to talk about, we're going to get a little nerdy, talk about the players and everything.
So hold on. No, hold on. I ain't going to let you off the hook. We got something that we really got to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week.
All right, can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, ask.
Are you willing to bet on this game?
On the Rams?
Yeah.
Hell nah.
Okay.
I don't yeah. I don't give a shit who win this game.
All right. Okay.
Ain't no damn Rams fan. I want to see a good game.
All right. So what was what we got to talk about?
We got to talk about Brian Flores and what's going on. We got to talk about Brian Flores and what's going on in the NFL.
All right.
Yeah, we can't duck it. What are your thoughts, man?
I think we all knew what was happening in the NFL. We all knew what was happening, and the fact that there are less black coaches now than there was when the Rooney Rule was invented is crazy. I think that is just crazy. Oh boy, I got guests. And I guess they don't know that we're recording right now, and it's fine. But nonetheless, I appreciate what he's done, or what he is doing. I thought it would have been kind of cool. I thought it would have been kind of cool if he would have got the job, whether it's in Houston or New Orleans. He didn't. I'll say this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. He's fighting for diversity. Right, in the coaching ranks, where's the diversity in his representation? He doesn't have not one black attorney, and he doesn't have there's not even a black attorney that's and that works for the firm. They don't have a black paralegal. They don't have anyone that's black in the company or at the law firm. So I think that like you're fighting for diversity, but you don't have any diversity in your representation. That's a little weird. I think that's a little weird.
So here's my take on it. And follow me, I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off.
Oh boy.
Everything that he says, I agree with. I agree that there have been hiring practices. I agree that they don't want to have black head coaches. And I agree we don't have enough diversity. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of collusion. I wouldn't be so surprised if the Rooney Rule was a bunch of bullcrap, and they were just interviewing black candidates, knowing good and well they weren't going to get the job, but just doing it to check a box. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that exists everywhere? Absolutely. It does. If you think that it doesn't exist everywhere, then you're not woke enough. On the other end, I didn't like the timing of it and how he did it. And I felt like looking at his case is very subjective. I believe everything that he's telling is things that have happened, and I believe all the people that have came forward that all those things happen to them. But then it goes to the next step is how do you prove those things have happened? How do you prove that you were the best candidate for that job? And sometimes people do or can just say, you know what, I like the other guy better. His resume stacked with your resume. So, better than your resume, or we feel like he was a better cultural fit. So when I looked at his evidence, I didn't see anything that just stuck out with like, you know what, you're right, and you got him. I looked at it as, okay, you're going up against a machine, and you got a toothpick. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to fight with the right ammunition. And to your point, maybe that's the lack of diversity in his legal representation, because some of the diverse lawyers would have been like, yeah, let's hold this for a little second. Let's get a little bit more proof. Let's watch how the rest of the interview process plays out. Because he had, like you said, he had an interview with the Texans. He had an interview with the Saints. Let's see who interviews for that. Let's see if you get it. Let's see if you're qualified. But of course, he blasts it while he's going through the interview process, and then it just kind of leads that. I wasn't a fan of Height. His timing was way off.
So initially, I thought that his timing was off, right? And then I started thinking like, at this point, you do something like that, it doesn't matter what your timing is, right? I mean, because you kind of know what you're doing. Like at that point, when you push the button to file that lawsuit, or the class action suit, whatever, you kind of know what's about to happen, right? You're not. So it wouldn't have mattered whether if he had the job already. I like the fact that he did it, and after thinking about it, we had a week that he did it while he was in the process, because I personally think that stopped the Texans from hiring a unproven white coach, because they would have hired Josh McCown as their now. I think that he has a point, because all of those guys know that I think everybody knows that at this moment right now, Brian Flores is a better coach than Lovie Smith. He's a better coach than Josh McCown. Won't say he's a better coach than Dennis Allen, because Dennis Allen was already in the building, and it was what it was. Can't really say he's better than Doug Peterson, because Doug Peterson just won a Super Bowl 4 years ago. But I think that because of that lawsuit, it helped the Dolphins. I mean, it helped another. I mean, he was a biracial coach, but the Dolphins hired a biracial coach. Lovie Smith did get hired. And I think there was another one that got hired. But I think it played a part, and I think that it helped, right? And I'm not saying that because that lawsuit was discovered, or filed, that it's going to change, immediately. But I think when you have immediately the NFL came out and made a statement saying that there's no merit. A day later, or maybe a day or two later, Roger Goodell says we have a problem. And I mean, I think that
no problem. You can't deny that we don't have a problem. It is a problem. I mean, you stated it. There's less black head coaches than when the Rooney Rule was established. It's a problem. But my question and I'm just playing devil's advocate, and this is what they're going to say when he brings this up, is if you're a white owner and you're looking to hire your next coach, what does Brian Flores bring to the table to make you want to hire him?
Oh, come on, Scott. Let's not do that. Like, you're not going to be that guy. You said, what does Brian Flores? Hold on. You said, what does Brian Flores bring to the table
and make me just clamor that I gotta have him on my coaching staff?
Okay, all right. So let's see. Because there's a number of things. he got to Miami. They were in the pits in the AFC East, right? Their defense was terrible. As he got there, their defense got better. Not saying that they were the best defense in the league, but they were a solid defense. They had a solid defense the 2 years that he was there. He's a defensive guy. So the main thing is, how's your defense? One, his players bought in, right? Because yes, they lost 7 in a row. And I know when we had our conversation, I brought that up that they lost 7 in a row. But they also won 8 of their last 9 games. They won 8 of their last 9 games. The last time that the Miami Dolphins had back-to-back winning seasons, we were in college. Like and not like about to graduate either. All right, so that's another thing. And if you look at just the support that he got, not even from other coaches, from the players, so if you're asking what does he bring to the table, he brings a lot. I mean, clearly he's a good coach.
He brings that to the table, but then you start to look, you're like, well, Miami still didn't make the playoffs. Like, all this great and fine and dandy, and yeah, they had a winning streak. His players bought in, but they didn't buy in enough for him to make it to the playoffs.
That's not necessarily true, though. That's not true, Scott. I mean, they missed it by one game 2 years in a row.
They missed it by 1 game 3 years in a row. You're right.
2 years.
Well, 2 years in a row.
Right.
All right. So his players, he got overwhelming support. He's a player's coach. People like him. But again, if I'm looking to change my franchise and I'm looking to change the fortunes of my franchise, what makes me think that this guy is that guy?
Miami was terrible. They were terrible. They weren't even in the playoff hunt. At one point this season, Miami was in the, like, at one point 2 weeks, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the season, they were in the playoffs. And the playoffs had started at that. But again, you're right. They didn't make the playoffs, and that is fine. But you look at some of these coaches, some of these other coaches in the league, and they're like, well, they're not that good. Look at what y'all say about Mike McCarthy every week.
Right, but okay, but I'll go back there. But Lovie Smith can at least say, I had a Super Bowl appearance. He could say, he could point.
He also coached longer.
He coached longer, but he's had like a track record of success, right? And I think most people agree that. And he stepped down. He became a defensive coordinator. I mean, Lovie Smith has done his time, right? And I get Brian Flores is a little bit younger, but if I'm looking at it from an owner standpoint, it's like he's going against the machine, and he hasn't even coached in the playoffs. As a head coach.
Oh, no, not as a head coach.
He's going up against the machine like it's crazy. I can't get a job. And
absolutely.
He may have a little bit of a small point, but
no, it's not a small point, Scott. It's not a small point.
Well, it was a big point, but I'm just looking at him and I'm just like, all right, I get it. Thank you for bringing it to everybody's attention, but we couldn't get a better representative. We couldn't get somebody with a better track record. What's
wrong? So I'm confused now. So what's wrong with his track record?
I can see why teams have an argument on why they pass on him.
Yeah, help me out. How? What? Because you look at some of these coaches that's getting hired, and you're like, how are you getting hired over me? You can't say because he didn't make the playoffs. That what?
I'm just saying, like, with his opportunity, he did good.
Scott,
he did
Scott,
what?
They didn't have like, let's not act like Miami was the Patriots or Miami was Green Bay or Miami was Kansas City. Miami were bad. They were a bottom feeder, like perennial bottom feeder. And he turned them into contenders. Mind you, with he had Tua and Fitzpatrick, and they were again a game out of the playoff hunt. I think they went 10-6.
He went 10-6, right? So right. We do agree that before he got there, Miami was consistently between six wins. They would have 6 wins. So he improved them by 4 wins, right? So that's what you're saying?
That's a lot, Scott.
That is a lot. but I just don't I don't see it. Like I didn't see it when he was in Miami. Like even before the lawsuit, it was just kind of like
then I think we disagree. I think he's a damn good coach. I mean,
he's a good coach, but I'm not like, yo, fire the coach. He's on here like now. If it was Mike Tomlin saying that he couldn't have a job or he couldn't get a job, right? So let's say Pittsburgh fires Mike Tomlin, and you've got a lot of teams out there. You got 11 vacancies, and Mike Tomlin can't get a job. Then I think we've got a better shot of proving what's going on.
Scott,
you know what I mean?
Mike Tomlin's been how long has Mike Tomlin been coaching?
He's been coaching a long time.
He's never had huh?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if we were forming the argument and we're trying to really prove that this is going on, which I believe is going on, we've got to be. It can't be a guy that we barely buy into or some people buy into. Like it's got to be a legitimate.
I don't think that matters. I don't think that one he's shown that he can win in the NFL. He was coaching for the Patriots. It's not like he was like his history. He won 4 championships with the Patriots. So it's like we can't act like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about and he's not a good coach.
I never say he didn't know what he was talking about. I'm just saying, like, if you come to me and you accuse me, and let's take the Giants for instance, right?
Okay.
And you're like, this guy should have got this job. It's going to be a hard sell to be like, we didn't think he was a good fit. It's going to be a hard sell, and it's an uphill battle, and that's the uphill battle that he's gonna fight. Is that how do you really prove that you weren't the best person for that job? So
the Giants hired a guy that's never been a head coach a day in his life.
And right? A lot of other teams do the same thing. A lot of other teams do the same thing.
But again, and that's fine. But if you're talking about changing a culture, a losing culture, and he's clearly changed the culture in Miami. He clearly changed the culture in Miami. And the Giants have never. So I mean, the Giants never had a black head coach ever. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find a black coach that ever worked for the New York Giants. I don't think you can. I mean, somebody can help me out. I may be wrong, but his thing with the Giants was they just checked the box. They weren't planning on hiring him. They just agreed to interview him because of the Rooney Rule. So I mean that's the main part. It's not like he interviewed and he was like, well, he wasn't that good. He didn't even get a chance to interview, and they had already made their selection of who they was going to make have as a head coach, and they was just using him as a check box. Like we performed the Rooney Rule, so we're not gonna lose any draft picks. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. And so they weren't even looking to hire him. And I think that's where the problem lies. And it's a problem. And I think we get that part, and we agree there. But I don't think we agree on how good of a coach he is. I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick. I'm not saying he's Mike Tomlin, but he's a damn good coach. I mean, it ain't too many Bill Belichick's.
I never said he wasn't a damn good coach. I'm just saying that when you hear his name, he's not a guy that you're clamoring for to coach your organization.
When are you talking about? You talking about now, or are you talking about before he got hired?
I'm talking about before. Like, let's say all this never even happened, and let's say he just got fired.
Oh, he would have had a job. He would have been had a job. You
think so?
Absolutely.
Ben had a job.
He would have got. I wouldn't be surprised if he would have got hired in New Orleans. He definitely would have got hired in because the reports are he would have got hired in Houston. But is Houston really a good job? Houston's not a good job. I think that
I wouldn't have been surprised if he didn't get a job.
I absolutely when he got fired, because he didn't get fired from Miami because he wasn't doing a good job. That's not why he got fired. He got fired.
He couldn't get along with they didn't like him ultimately.
I mean, the GM, because I mean, again, he has reports of, not taking money to lose games. So if that's the case, and that's why they don't like him, then yeah, he got a beef. That's not.
Look, I think he knew he wasn't going to get a job because
I don't think that's the case.
We've talked about this numerous times too. The leeway that a black coach has is a lot less than a white coach, right? So you're telling me a black coach that, okay, let's say he had all the things that you had, he still didn't win. You think that they were just going to clamor to give him a second shot? It doesn't happen like that for black coaches.
He didn't win.
He didn't win any playoff games. He won in the regular season, and they went on a run. But he didn't win any playoff games. You think that a black coach was going to get another job like that?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. That's one of the reasons why he filed the lawsuit. He knew he wasn't going to get no job.
No.
No,
Scott. No, that's false. I whatever that is that you just made up, all right, cool. But that's false. To me, I disagree. Because I'm gonna file this lawsuit because I'm not gonna. No, there's clearly an issue. We can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh, there's an issue, but he filed this because he wasn't going to get a job.
No, I'm saying there is an issue. He knew he wasn't going to get a job.
Nah,
he knew he wasn't going to get a job. We agree. There is an issue, but the way things go, you just aren't like. Look at Marvin Lewis, right?
Okay.
We can say what we want to say about Marvin Lewis, but those Bengals teams, they competed. He didn't win a playoff game, but at least he got the team there. And they were consistently good. Have we seen Marvin Lewis back in the NFL as a head coach?
Okay. No.
Leslie Frazier.
Overrated as a head coach. I didn't think he was that great of a head coach. I think he's a better coordinator than he is a head coach.
Jim Caldwell
got screwed over.
Got screwed over and continue. Those, to me, those are examples of guys that you could be like, you know what, this guy should have had a shot.
Jim Caldwell didn't make the playoffs his last year in Detroit.
He coached in the Super Bowl.
Okay, a long time ago.
No, but I'm saying those are the examples of guys. Lovie Smith is another one. When I think
Lovie Smith went to college.
Yeah, but again,
Illinois.
Should he have had to go to college?
I mean, if that's what he wanted to. I mean, there's a bunch of. Lane Kiffin went to college.
Yeah, I'm assuming, but I could be wrong that he probably wanted an NFL job. I'm just saying, like, those guys couldn't get jobs. And
those guys, all those guys that you name,
Flores and be like, oh,
but all those guys that you name, I don't think that they're all better coaches than Brian Flores. I don't think Leslie Frazier was a better head coach than Brian Flores. I think he's a damn good coordinator. Do I think that he had a stretch or he coached long enough to see if he was going to be that guy? Probably not. But I don't think that he filed that lawsuit because he wasn't going to get a job. I think honestly it came from the stuff in Miami and everything else, and then he got that text from Bill Belichick, and it's like, whoa, Denver was just collateral damage because he had an interview with them. I mean, and he ended up getting hired by Miami that same year. But if you're gonna come to my interview drunk and late, I mean,
John Elway,
Yeah. I mean, and if that's what he's accused, I'm not gonna say he's a liar. I mean, Because who's to say that they didn't come in there, that he didn't come in there drunk? And who's to say that they weren't late? I mean, just because they say they have notes and time, that doesn't mean that they weren't late. I mean, they're gonna say they weren't late.
Probably were. I'm not disputing anything that this brother is saying that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it all happened. Mm-hmm. I believe all of it did. But like you said, how do you prove that somebody was late? And how do you prove that somebody was drunk a couple years ago on your interview later? You know what I mean? That's how it's hard to prove.
But you know what? Sometimes you don't have to prove it. Just having it out there, because here's the thing. If one, that text message, right? So that's showing that there's some sort of behavior, right? And now, even if you put some sauce on it, that is out there. Like, oh, they were late and they were hungover for this black head coach because they knew who they was gonna hire anyway. You know what I'm saying? They were just going through the motions. You know, so I feel like he may not get another job, right? And I think he's okay with that at this moment. I think he's okay with that. But there have been reports that said, had he not had that lawsuit, he would have got the Houston job.
Yeah, but it's easy to say that after the fact, right?
No, come on, Scott.
No. But it's
everybody. The first thing everybody said.
But it's easy to say, oh, what if he didn't do this, or what if he didn't do that? He was a shoe-in for that job after the fact.
I mean, but everybody said,
like, that's why I would have liked to have seen it play out, right? To see if he really got a job. You know what I mean? Or if he really got a job, would he have been saying anything? Would he still be going?
But he was still going through the process, though. So it's not like he waited till the process was over. I think if you wait till the process is over, that's more sour grapes than anything. He was still going through the process. I mean, he literally had 2 interviews after he filed the claim.
I say this. I wish his brother luck. I read his claim. I wish it was a little bit more detailed, but I wish him luck. And I think one thing we could shout him out is shout out to him for having the courage to even go through with it. Absolutely.
So
we can give him that.
Yeah. So I mean, and we'll see how everything plays out. It's going to take more than just black people saying. I mean, it's going to take some of the white coaches. It's going to take a Bill Belichick. It's going to take an Andy Reid to say, "Yo, we got a." I mean, Andy Reid should be saying it. I mean, he has said that there was a problem, because with Eric Bieniemy. So I don't know, man. I don't like how you underrated this guy, man, for the job that he did in Miami. I mean,
I'm not going to call it. I ain't gonna say I underrated him. I say that it just ain't.
Say he wasn't that good of a coach.
When I say not that good of a coach, I'm putting him to where I've got to be clamoring for him. That I've got to stop what I'm doing and get rid of my coach to get this guy.
Okay. All right. So I mean, we got the Super Bowl. You got the Rams. I got the Bengals. We'll talk about this again next week. I think I have a feeling that we both have some points that we left on the table that we didn't bring. Yeah, I just want to say that this guy's a jerk. Flores will not be the coach in Dallas. That would be Sean Payton. Anyway, all right, man. Let's get up out of here. We'll be back next week. Well, before we go tomorrow, you want to say happy birthday to Janai. She turns 18.
Wow, old man.
Let's not do that. Also, in about 2 weeks, I think it is 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have a special show. Actually, Janaya, that same child of mine, is actually gonna be making her college selection on the show.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't even think she knows at this moment. But
No, it's gonna be dope.
yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and then we'll see what happens. And then I'd be like, oh, I got a college student. Nah, yay. But all right, man, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Hey, Scotty B.
All right, shout out Brian Flores, man. We out of here.
We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record.